Hi, my name is Paul. I'm from Trusted House Painter, and I'm just finishing up this renovation here in this house. As you can see, we've got fresh drywall everywhere in this house. Well, it's not fresh drywall everywhere. We have some patching of existing walls, such as this blue wall, but we have drywall throughout it. And a lot of people ask me the question, can you paint a paint and primer paint over top of the drywall? Since I'm painting it anyways, can I just use those paint and primer paints that everybody uses at the store? Can I use that on my fresh drywall? So the answer is yes, you can, but it's really expensive. That's the first thing you want to think about, is that using that paint and primer in one product, it's good for small drywall surfaces. It's good for like small little, exposed wood, but it's not really designed to paint over all of this drywall. And rather, instead, professional painters use a product, it's called primer sealer. That's what you put on drywall, fresh drywall. Sherwin-Williams makes a few products, Dulux, and many other, Benjamin Moore, other companies. They make their own versions of the primer sealer for drywall. And one of the products I use is this ProMar 200. It's just another primer sealer that is used for sealing drywall. Now, the reason why you want to use a primer sealer rather than a paint and primer in one is because a primer sealer has what they call PVA in it, polyvinyl acrylics. And polyvinyl acrylics, they fill into the pores of the drywall. You see down this wall here, you have the dark areas and then you have the light areas here. Well, these light areas is the mud. This is the mud, and this dark area is the actual drywall. And if you look closely, you can kind of see little hairs, fibers sticking up. And if you look at the mud, it's really quite chalky. You can see my hand has chalk all over it. So once you've dusted the walls and there's no more chalk on the walls, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you prime it with a PVA primer or a polyvinyl acrylic primer, what we call a primer sealer. And what that does is that soaks into all the pores of the fresh drywall and onto this drywall here and the mud. And what it does is it allows the paint that you're going to paint later on to adhere to it with a smooth, flat surface. It's very important. You need fewer top coats when you use a primer sealer like this, because this primer sealer soaks into the drywall quite a bit. So you will use a lot of primer sealer when you're sealing drywall like this hallway here, or in that bedroom that we walked through. So you're gonna want to use a primer sealer first before you paint. It's really important. And the main reason is because it's gonna cost you a lot of money if you use that paint and primer in one versus if you use a primer sealer for a whole room. So my general rule of thumb is, if it's more than an actual sheet of drywall, which is 4x8, you should prime it with a primer sealer. If it's just a drywall patch, you can use those primers and paints in ones. However, you most likely still need 3 coats on that one spot in order to bring it up to speed with the rest of the wall. Anyways, my name is Paul from Trusted House Painter. I thought I'd give you this little video just to let you know if you've got a renovation or a new build like this. It's definitely something you want to think about, using a primer sealer instead of the paint and primer in one. And if you need professional painters, or you need advice, you need help, go to trustedhousepainter.com. You can post your painting project, get lots of quotes with one post. You can find local painters there.